this part of being a granny. I wonder if our grandchildren are in the same class. Which one is yours?" Grace was well aware that on that particular day, she hadn't had time to put her face on, and that yes, she wasn't the youngest mum in the world, but she was way too embarrassed to tell this lady that Archie was her son, not her grandson. So she nervously smiled, mumbled, grabbed Archie's hand as quickly as she could and walked away holding her head high, even though she felt totally gut-punched. Now she was looking forward to next term, when she wouldn't have to do the school run anymore. Archie was 10, and in the last year of primary school, when they encouraged the kids to walk to and from school on their own, getting them ready for high school. At least then, she wouldn't have to face that woman again. It had played on her mind all evening, and when her friend Monica happened to call her that night, she burst into tears and confided that she'd already felt like a fat old frump, without someone thinking she was a good few years older than she actually was. Monica was really supportive and said she had an idea to make her feel better. Grace had no clue what she had in mind, but they had arranged to get together in a fortnight, the next time that Archie was at his dad's. And now, as if it wasn't bad enough that she had been mistaken for Archie's granny, Grace had been invited to this formal event. She knew she'd be expected to go, as she'd been told this week that she'd been nominated for an award for her cutting-edge work at the family-run estate agency that she worked at, and she'd been dreading the invitation arriving. But now, on top of her usual nerves, she was worried that tons of other people would obviously think she was way older than she was. Grabbing her phone, Grace searched black tie. Shit the bed, Bex. I have to wear a cocktail dress. What even is a cocktail dress? Her anxiety levels rose even higher. Grace was a practical soul at heart, a list maker, so she did what she did best to get rid of stress. She grabbed an empty notepad from her stationery stash and started making a list of pros and cons of going to this event. Pros. It would be good for business. I might win. Cons. I need to lose 3 stone, fast. I don't have a guest to take. I've never owned a cocktail dress in my life. I'd have to find a cocktail dress. Where do you buy a cocktail dress? Do they sell cocktail dresses in Asda? I won't know anyone there. I might have to sit next to a stranger and eat dinner. I'd have to make small talk. If I did win an award, which I won't, what if I fell over when I had to go up to collect it? What if I threw up with nerves? I'd have to have my hair coloured, get rid of these grey roots. Oh, crap. I'd have to shave my legs. So the cons outweighed the pros. It was obvious what she had to do. She just had to find an excuse not to go. When she went into work that morning, the awards event was the talk of the office. The 3 young girls who worked there were discussing what they were going to wear and having spray tans and booking in nails appointments with the local beautician. Grace's worst nightmare was their big dream. "How exciting," said Melanie, who was the office manager as well as the boss's wife. "Our Grace, nominated for Business Superstar, and the agency nominated for Estate Agency of the Year. We are so proud of you all." Grace smiled, but underneath she was already dreading the event and trying to think of every excuse she could to get out of it. She went over to the desk she used when she was in the office and picked up a pile of particulars that needed putting in some semblance of order, starting to pair photographs with their relevant descriptions. Before Grace had started at the agency, houses had been detailed in the usual way, paper copies being given out to prospective buyers. Grace had had the idea of filming the rooms and sharing the videos on the agency's Facebook page, which was also new, so that people got a real feel for the house they were looking at. It had been quite revolutionary for this small family firm and had increased business by 200%. Nikki, Jo and Julie, all 20-something single girls, fawned over her. "Oh, Grace," said Nikki, "we were just saying before you came in that you've inspired us all to think of new, innovative ways to do things to make us better than our competition. And if you can do it at your age, then we absolutely can." Grace laughed at the backhanded compliment, and she and Melanie grinned at each other. "Seriously, Grace," said Melanie, "we are so delighted since you joined us. It's like a breath of fresh air has wafted through the business. We were very stuck in a rut, too busy to even think about changing things. We really did hit the jackpot when you applied for this job." It was amazing, really, that Grace had been so desperate to get this job so that she could fit work around Archie, and that they were so pleased to get her. It had been a super match, and it had worked out wonders. However, her bosses telling her she'd done a good job was enough for her. She didn't need to go through all the stress of the